Hey, what is up, everybody? Coach Chad here. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Let's go ahead and dive into our CEO message. So, what we're going to be talking about today is what does it take to be a winner? And real quick, if I say, what does it take to be a winner? And the first thing that comes to your head is, man, I really don't care. I don't care. I don't care about what it takes to be a winner. Then, hey, maybe this isn't the company for you. Right? Maybe you have felt recently that there's some misalignment and you just feel like, maybe this isn't the company for me. All right. And if I ask this question, what does it take to be a winner? And you're feeling that way, then hey, that's okay. Right? That's okay. If you messaged me and said, hey, Chad, you know what? I really don't want to be number one in the space. I don't want to contribute to a company that wants to be number one in the space. This isn't really aligned with my values of working this hard or pushing this hard and making these levels of sacrifices. You're actually doing yourself and you're doing the rest of the company a service by messaging me and saying, hey, this isn't the place for me. And guess what? If you did that, I would have the utmost respect for you. And I would say, hey, I really appreciate you doing that. And, let me help you find something on the way out here. All right. So that's the first thing I got to say. If you have no interest in learning what it takes to be a winner, not just as a company, but as an individual, then maybe this isn't the place for you. Because what we are trying to achieve here is we are trying to be the number one company in this coaching space. And more importantly than that, I want people that, and I've told this to Paige before, I want people to leave this company saying, man, when I worked for NLCA, I felt like I was absolutely striving to become the best version of myself. And that's the thing that I care most about. I want people that work in NLCA to have the goal of being the best version of themselves, whether that's professionally, physically, emotionally, relationally. I want us all to be working towards becoming our apex version of ourselves. All right. So I'm going to say this again. We're going to be talking about winning today. We're going to be talking about how to become a winner. And if that's something that you're not interested in, then maybe this isn't the company for you. And that is okay. Because if you left the company, you're doing yourself a service and you're doing the rest of the company a service as well. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into it. So what we're going to be talking about today is John Wooden's pyramid for success. All right, before we get into it, I need to answer the question, who is John Wooden? All right, some of you guys might already know who John Wooden is. If you don't, I will fill in the gaps. So he is arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time. All right, he was a collegiate basketball coach. So he was a college basketball coach, and he was a college basketball coach for 12 years. His team won the national championship 10 out of the 12 years that he was coaching. And that is like unheard of, extremely, extremely impressive. So once again, he'll go down as one of the greatest coaches of all time. Now, before he passed away, he created this pyramid of success. And obviously, he's created 10 winning teams out of the 12 years that he was doing this. And these were the character traits that he said every one of his winning teams embodied. And if he ever had a team that wasn't winning, which was very unlikely because he only didn't win 2 years out of his career, it's because they did not have some of these character traits as a part of that team. All right. So if you want to be a winning individual, if you want to be a winning department, if you want to be a winning company, John Wooden says that you need to embody these traits. So we're going to go ahead and break them all down on this call today. Okay, so like any pyramid, you have the foundational building blocks, and these are the fundamentals. If you don't have the foundation, everything else crumbles, right? And then you have the subsequent building blocks on top of the foundation. But the foundation has to be strong if we're going to be building on top of that. So let's go ahead and break down that foundation. All right, the first character trait in terms of the foundational pieces of a winner or a winning team is industriousness. All right, and as I'm going through these character traits, what I want you to do is I want you to break out a pen, I want you to break out a notebook or a piece of paper, and I want you to rank yourself on each of these character traits on a scale of 1 to 10. All right, 1 would be absolutely abysmal. This is one of my worst character traits. I really need to spend a lot of time and energy on this. 10 would be you're an absolute rock star. You are like the beacon and you ultimately lead by example in this character trait. All right, and then obviously anything in between there. So rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. We'll be able to come back and we'll be able to see where you're crushing it, and we'll be able to see where you need some improvement on. All right. And I am by no means perfect here. I'm not saying that I'm a 10 out of 10 at all these things. And I'm sure as we go through them, I'll omit to the ones that maybe I need some work on. All right. So let's start with industriousness. All right. So industriousness essentially means that there is no substitute for work. All right, work that is worthwhile, results that are worthwhile to come from are require hard work and careful planning. All right, so an individual that is industriousness is an individual that is an extremely hard worker. All right, they are willing to battle through the hardships. They're willing to fight through the challenges because they know that the results that they are creating are worthwhile. All right, and they are willing to work hard and plan to achieve those results. All right, so that's industriousness. Now, the second one here is friendship. All right, so let's define friendship. So friendship comes from mutual esteem, respect, and devotion. Like marriage, it must not be taken for granted, but requires joint effort. All right, so this comes in the sense of a team. All right, we are a team here. In order for us to be a successful team, we all need to have mutual esteem, respect, and devotion to one another. All right, like a marriage, we need to continue to choose to have that respect, devotion, and esteem with one another. All right, how teams fall apart is they lose the mutual respect, they lose the mutual devotion, but most importantly, they continue to not choose to have that respect daily. All right, so this is why we have the truth first tenet. The reason we have the truth first tenet is so that you guys can have these honest conversations, which in return will help you figure out any hardships or scenarios that you're going through so that we can maintain the devotion, esteem, and respect. All right, this doesn't mean that there will never be friction. There will always be friction. But once again, that's why we have the truth first tenet, so that you guys can work through that friction. And as a result of working through that friction, we maintain esteem, respect, and devotion. All right, so view our team like a marriage. You have to choose to show up every single day. You have to choose to have respect, devotion, and esteem for one another. All right, so that's the second pinnacle for success here. All right, the third one is loyalty. All right, so loyalty is two parts. All right, loyalty to yourself and to those depending upon you. All right, keep your self-respect. All right, so you have to be loyal to yourself. All right, so what does that mean to me? That also means truth first. You have to be loyal to your values and to your character traits, right? What things are important to you? You must be loyal to your values, which is self-respect. All right, the more that you break your own values, the more that you are disrespecting yourself. All right, but equally, we have to be loyal to one another. All right, we have to be there to support one another. All right, we do a really good job, especially this year in 2023, when things have been a little bit harder. We've been there to support each other. We've been loyal to each other, but we have to, once again, just like friendship, choose to be loyal to one another every day. All right, so loyalty, the people that are most successful, they have self-respect by upholding their values, and they are loyal to their teammates. They are loyal to helping out their teammates in tough times. All right, number 4 is cooperation. All right, so teams that are going to be most successful cooperate at a high level. All right, so with all levels of your coworkers, listen if you want to be heard. Be interested in finding the best way, not in having your own way. All right, so what cooperation means is, in a sense, almost mission first, right? What's this last sentence? Be interested in finding the best way, not in having your own way. Meaning, in order for us to cooperate, there is going to be a lot of ideas. There is going to be a lot of moving parts. It's not about making your way or your opinion the best opinion. It's about listening to all of our opinions and forming the best opinion out of that. It's not about saying that I had the best idea or I had the best opinion or I'm the one who solved the challenge. It's, hey, here's what I feel like I can contribute, and then looking at what everybody else can contribute to formulate what is the best game plan moving forward. All right, that's cooperation. The second thing that I'll throw in here is it says with all levels of your coworkers. All right, so what that means to me is that there's no pecking order in the sense of whose idea is going to be the best. Just because a leader gives an idea doesn't mean that it's better than a frontline worker's idea, right? All ideas are created equal in order to find whatever the best idea is that's going to move the company forward. All right, so that's cooperation. All winning teams have cooperation. Now, the last one here is all winning individuals and teams have enthusiasm. All right, so brushes off upon those with whom you come in contact. You must truly enjoy what you are doing. All right, so in order to be, this is how I interpret this, in order to be industrious, which is to work hard and have careful planning towards worthwhile results, you also have to be enthusiastic about your work. All right, so it must come off that you once again, you brush off with the individuals you come in contact with that you are excited about what you do. All right, you must truly enjoy what you are doing because you will work hard for things that you care about. All right, so this is the foundation. These are the 5 foundational pieces. We have industriousness, we have friendship, we have loyalty, we have cooperation, and we have enthusiasm. All right, so rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you weak on these 5? Where are you strong on these 5? Where can you improve? Where can you be better? All right, I would say the one that I could be better on is the cooperation piece. It is hard being remote to manage all of the different things that we are cooperating on, but it is also something that we are actively trying to improve. So I would say this is the one that personally I am trying to improve on, which is the cooperation piece. Okay, so now we get to the second layer of the pyramid. All right, so we have 4 character traits that build upon the foundation blocks of this pyramid. All right, so the first one is self-control. All right, so individuals that are successful, individuals that are winners, and teams that are winners have a lot of self-control. All right, so let's read it. So practice self-discipline and keep emotions under control. Good judgment and common sense are essential. All right, so essentially what this means is don't react emotionally. Don't make your decisions purely based on emotion. If you are saying to yourself, I feel like this is the right decision, or I feel like this is the right thing to do, we need to express some self-control. We need to look at the data. We need to look at the logic, and we got to say, hey, what is the common sense thing to do here? And maybe that requires us to have some cooperation, right? Maybe, once again, we have this idea, we're emotionally excited about it, we think it's the best idea, and we move forward on it, but it ends up being the wrong thing. But if we had cooperation, we could bounce that idea off somebody to get a more logistical or common sense view. All right, so individuals that are successful and teams that are successful have a lot of self-discipline. All right, they have a lot of self-control. That also means that they have the ability to say no. All right, we are all very good at communicating what's important in the company. All right, and because we are good at communicating what's important in the company, we can very easily get distracted or see the distractions on the horizon, right? If I tell you guys, hey, ACA is the most important thing that we need to be focusing on right now, or resigns and ascension are the most important thing that we need to be focused on right now, but we have all these things coming across our desk, self-control would also say, that we need to learn to say no to the distractions, to focus on the things that are utmost important to move the company forward. All right, so great teams, departments, and individuals have high levels of self-control in terms of their decision-making ability and also in terms of knowing what is imperative to work on versus what is not imperative to work on. Now, self-control, I'm going to go one step further. Self-control also goes beyond the workplace, right? Individuals that are highly successful and teams that are highly successful, they aren't, partying on the weekends. They aren't partying at night, because that level of non-self-control and non-discipline is going to bleed into the next week worth of work or the next day worth of work and make you less productive. All right, so self-control in all aspects there. Now, the next part of this tier is alertness. All right, so individuals that are highly successful and teams that are highly successful display a high level of alertness. All right, so be observing constantly, stay open-minded, and be eager to learn and improve. Now, we talk about this a lot with our leadership team, but a quote that we use, it's actually one of our leadership team ethics, is our team will only go as far as we grow. All right, so individuals that are winners and teams that are winners are highly alert from the sense that they are constantly observing, right? They are looking at what the market is doing. They are looking at what competitors are doing. They are looking at what companies that are bigger than us are doing, and they are learning from these companies to be able to apply. In addition to that, they're also constantly learning, listening to podcasts, reading books, right? Even on TikTok and Instagram, you can find business accounts or personal development accounts to get more quick tips if you don't have time to read a book or listen to a podcast, which, let's be honest, we all have time. We can all read 10 pages a day. All right. But individuals that are winners and departments that are winners are highly alert. All right. They're constantly observing on areas that they could be better as an individual or ways they could be better as a team. And they're learning to plug those holes. All right. The next one here is initiative. Sounds a lot like a company tenet, right? Sounds a lot like act first. Well, let's read it. All right. So initiative, cultivate the ability to make decisions and think alone. Do not be afraid of failure, but learn from it. Wow. That's literally the act first tenet. All right. So the act first tenet is, despite the challenges in front of you, make a decision. Most people have paralysis by analysis. They don't make a decision, and then they fail because of inaction instead of failing because of action. Failing because of action is totally fine, and you won't get in trouble for that because you tried something. And as a result of trying something, we have data to learn so that we can improve for next time. All right, so teams that are winners and individuals that are winners have high levels of initiative. They're not afraid to make decisions and think alone, and they're not afraid of failure because they know they're going to learn from it. All right, the last character trait here in tier 2 is intentness. All right, so intentness, set a realistic goal. Concentrate on its achievements by resisting all temptations and being determined and persistent. All right, so intentness means I am intent on, this is my vision. I am intent on launching ACA by January 1st. I am intent to getting our re-sign percentage back up to 40%. I am intent in whatever your goal may be as a department, as an individual. All right, and then from there, they are intent on concentrating on the things that need to be done in order to achieve that goal. And they express high levels of self-control by blocking out any distractions. All right, so that's intentness. Once again, rank yourself, scale of 1 to 10. Where are you strong? Where are you weak? All right, I like playing this game with you guys. So where can I be better? All right, honestly, I would say I could be better with self-control, and I could be better with intentness. With intentness, I'm really good at setting goals. And I would say that I'm also good at holding myself accountable, but I would say that I do sometimes get distracted. And I would say that I used to be worse at this, and I'm getting better, but I can very easily get distracted by good ideas. Like if I have an idea that pops up and I'm like, oh, we got to do that, it then in return takes time away from something else that we may have been focusing on previously. So I would say self-control is probably the one I have to work on a little bit more here. Okay, so now we're on tier 3. All right, so for tier 3, we have 3 character traits. Number 1 is condition. All right, so mental, moral, physical, rest, exercise, and diet must be considered. Moderation must be practiced. All right, dissipation must be eliminated. All right, so essentially what this says is if you are going to be a winner in your field, if you are going to also cultivate a winning culture, the individuals need to be mentally strong, morally strong, which could be emotionally, but also could be value-based wise, and physically strong. All right. So you have to worry about your physical, you have to worry about your mental, and you have to worry about your emotional. All right. This comes from rest, exercise, and diet. All right. All of that must be considered. All right. So we talked about this a lot, right? We literally just did this with the NLCA 30-day Apex Challenge, but being great is beyond just being great in your work. All right. Checking the boxes off at your work is not enough. All right. Being great has to go outside of the workplace. You got to get your workouts in. You got to focus on your diet. You got to focus on your hydration. You got to prioritize your rest, which looks different for everybody. Right. But condition is a character trait of a winning individual and a winning team. All right. The second one here is skill. A knowledge of and the ability to properly and quickly execute the fundamentals. Be prepared and cover every little detail. All right, so I hear two things here. All right, we used to have a company tenet called focus on the fundamentals. All right, and at the end of the day, every department is responsible for a bare basic fundamental. All right, the closing department is responsible for getting good leads to show and closing good quality leads. The DM team is responsible for booking quality leads. The coaching team is responsible for creating a great experience and getting our clients results. The operation team is responsible for making sure that the company is operationally sound internally and making sure that we have good company culture. All right, the leadership team is responsible for making sure that their teams execute on these KPIs and uphold great company culture, right? So the marketing team is responsible for bringing in leads for everybody else to book, right? So everybody has bare basic responsibilities. So what skill means here is having the ability to properly and quickly execute on these fundamentals, which requires you to know what they are and to continue to improve your skill with those particular fundamentals. The last part here is be prepared to cover every little detail. We talk about this a lot, but being detail-oriented is extremely important. No task is too big. No task is too small. All right, whether it's updating something on Monday or doing a part in a big project, you need to have a high level of attention to detail. All right, this last one here is team spirit. All right, so a genuine consideration for others, an eagerness to sacrifice personal interests of glory for the welfare of others. What does that sound like? That sounds a lot like mission first, right? Making decisions for the greater good of the mission, even if they aren't self-serving, and being willing to not just being willing, but being eager to sacrifice your personal self-interest for the glory of the overall team. All right, that's what a winner does. That's what a leader does, and that's what winning companies do. Is they are quick to give away the blame, or sorry, to give away the glory and accept all of the blame. Right? They have high levels of self-responsibility, but they also are pushing away the glory to other individuals, and they align their decisions and actions with that thought process. All right, so scale of 1 to 10: condition, skill, team spirit. Where are you strong? Where are you weak? All right. Being honest with myself, I would say that I could be better with condition. I'm very strong on the mental side, and I focus a lot on reading and improving and listening to podcasts. The moral side, I very much hold my values to a high regard. I would say the area that I could be better is on the physical side, which is funny because I used to be like really friggin' ripped and jacked. And don't get me wrong, I still work out a ton. I would say the area on the physical side that I could be better is my diet. So that's me being honest with myself. All right, we got 2 more tiers left. The next tier here, there's only 2 characteristics. All right, so we have poise and we have confidence. All right, so poise, just being yourself, being at ease in any situation and never fighting yourself. All right, so essentially what this means is honestly, not just in startup companies. I was going to say in startup companies, in literally life, in any aspect of life, there is going to be parts, whether it's a full day, whether it's a full month, whether it's a full year, where it feels like an absolute shitstorm. All right, winning teams and winning cultures and winning companies and winning individuals keep their composure despite what's happening on the external. All right, and this requires you to be yourself and requires you to be at ease in any situation. So regardless of the challenges that are thrown your way, you are confident in your ability to continue to execute and move forward despite what's happening externally. All right, so poise is the ability to block out what's happening externally and to show up in any situation consistently the same. All right, then we got confidence. All right, confidence is respect without fear, may come from being prepared and keeping all things in proper perspective. All right, so essentially what this is saying here is it's your ability, it's kind of coupled with poise. It's your ability to remain confident and steadfast despite, once again, what is happening externally here. All right, it's your ability to keep proper perspective. All is going to be okay. I got this. I've been here before. I can rely on my execution, and I will continue to move forward. All right, so winning teams, winning departments, winning individuals, stay poised and remain confident. All right, where can I improve on these two? So once again, rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 here. I would say I feel pretty good on both of these. You can always be more poised, and I would say that I can always be more poised, but I feel strong in both of these areas. I'm going to give myself an 8 out of 10 in both areas. All right, we got one more. All right, so this is the top of the iceberg here. So I'm going to come back to our visual here. All right, so this is the top of our iceberg here. This is competitive greatness. All right, so in order to be competitively great, all right, in order to be a winner, in order to be at the pinnacle of your career, in order to be at the pinnacle of your relationships, the pinnacle of your health and fitness, the pinnacle of your professional career, whatever it may be, all of the things that come before competitive greatness must be embodied and must happen daily. All right. And that's the thing that John Wooden says. John Wooden says that these traits need to happen consistently daily. All right. These are not things that happen every once in a while. And that's the difference between good and great. Individuals that are good, they have some of these traits, and some of these traits show up throughout the week, but the individuals that are competitively great execute these things on a daily. It doesn't mean that they are amazing at these things every single day, but they are intentness on embodying these things every single day. All right, so competitive greatness, be at your best when your best is needed. And this is what he says. He says, when is your best needed? Because that's the question here. Your best is needed daily. All right, that was his response. So be at your best when your best is needed. And once again, he says your best is needed daily. All right, then the last one here is enjoyment of difficult situations. So if you are going to be an individual that is competitively great, not only do you need to show up and give your 100% effort every single day, doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, but you show up and give your 100% effort every single day, but you also have to enjoy a difficult challenge. All right, you have to like when things are hard. You have to like when challenges show up in your life and view those challenges as opportunities to learn, grow, and get better. All right, y'all. That is going to be it. All right, this is John Wooden's pyramid. I want you guys once again to rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. And you know what? Let's take this a step further. I would love to see in the team chat the different character traits that you think you could be better at and how you plan to get better at them. All right, y'all. Let's have a great week. Excited to see you guys, and we'll chat soon. Peace.